Hi there, it's Nicole here with a card featuring Mama Elephant stamps and dies to create a couple of love-themed cards. These would work for Valentine's Day or other love occasions, and I've even kind of turned one into a thank you card. These feature the newest addition to the Favor Bag add-on collection from Mama Elephant. This is the Piggy add-on, which is absolutely adorable. I've paired it with the Favor Bag Love add-on, which is this great heart with the arrow. I believe it's from last year's, or I guess February 2018's release, I think. But it's just a really great heart add-on. In fact, there's a couple of other hearts, but this smallest heart with the cutouts for the arrow is my favorite, and we're going to be creating a couple of cards. I'm only going to share the creation of one. The cards are basically the same. The second card, I'm just going to use the other ear option for the pig and the other eye option. Otherwise, everything is exactly the same, and I'm just going to switch up the sentiments. I'm also using the Mama Elephant Hugs and Kisses sentiments, which it's a stamp set that features pigs, but the greetings really work well with this die collection too, which I think is super fun. I love when you can mix and match. I'm starting with some Lawn Fawn Chili Pepper cardstock, an oversized piece. I like to start with an oversized piece when I'm going to be die cutting it. That way I can be sure that I get enough of this stamped. I removed the foam insert from the Misty, and then I am inking up this red cardstock with the Simon Says stamp diagonal stripes background. I am a huge fan. I have used this stamp many times. It's a really great basic, but I wanted a kind of pattern paper frame, and I didn't necessarily have a pattern that I felt like worked. And so I made my own. Background stamps are a great way to create your own backgrounds of any kind if you don't have a pattern paper maybe that works, or maybe you're like me and stamping one always is your preference. I'm a huge fan of creating custom stamped backgrounds, or in this case, a frame. In fact, the insert on this, I'm just going to save for another project. I think, however, you could take the hearts from the Favor Bag Heart add-on and die cut some hearts from this to use on cards, the remaining inside piece, which you'll see what I mean here in a minute. After I have inked up this background with the clear embossing ink sprinkled on my white embossing powder, I am going to heat set this. Because it's a pretty big surface area, it is going to take a little bit of time to get that all inked up. If you wanted to, you could die cut the frame first and then stamp it. I'm going to tell you the reason I didn't, and I kind of mentioned it when I started this part of the card. This way I was able to ink up the surface area twice with clear ink before I ever added the embossing powder. And it's a little bit harder to do that with the frame because I wanted it to go to edge, and sometimes the Misty will leave a little edge over there on the side where it just doesn't give you the impression clear up next to the border of the tool. So I like to start with a bigger piece of paper, but if you don't want kind of that extra wasted space, you could definitely die cut your frame first. As I mentioned, I'm going to be using those extra pieces on other cards later on, so I don't worry too much about that extra. So here is my red and white frame. For the insert on this, I am going to put a light gray background. I have pre-die cut the components for